Hello, everyone. It is time for our Monday night Simpsons stream. It's week 11 out of our 508 week Simpsons bracket, the BART-LE Royale. Here with Chad Wago. Once again, hello. It's going.
Hello.
Yeah, tonight we're talking about another great matchup of Two Bad Neighbors and She Used to Be My Girl. It's Two Bad Neighbors, the George Bush episode, and the She Used to Be My Girl. That's the one with, oh god, I forgot her name already. Yeah, it's Kim Cattrall as Chloe Talbot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I did not look up to see who the guest voice was because I could barely pay attention to that episode.
You didn't like it?
No, I
Oh.
was bored out of my mind. Uh, we'll talk more about that
Yeah.
when we get there. But
Yeah.
first, let's talk about the good one, which we always start the show with the higher ranked of
We do.
our two episodes, and this one is a classic. I'm fairly sure that it is a very well remembered episode. Two Bad Neighbors, season 7, episode 13.
Yeah.
So it's still in the golden era.
Yeah, it was January 14th, 1996, so just about a week after I turned 11. It was so yeah, definitely in that time when I was definitely watching The Simpsons every week, regardless of whether or not it was my birthday. If anything, it would have been a great way to spend your birthday watching The Simpsons. That would have been the week before this, I guess.
96. I think this was 8th grade for me.
Ah,
So I probably didn't watch this live because the 14th is one of my good friends, his birthday. It took me a number of years to figure that out. Uh, I
figure which part
through
out?
what day of the month? I knew it was January.
Ah,
I couldn't peg it between the 14th and the 17th, and I would have to be reminded every single year. But now that we've been friends for 28 years, I got it.
yeah. Don't tell my mom, but I don't know when her birthday is because it's generally within a couple of days of Mother's Day. So I just like send her a Mother's Day card and a birthday card on the same day, and then we'll. A lot of times I'll either ask one of my brothers when her birthday is, or just call her on Mother's Day and hope that counts for both.
What's really funny is the way that it looked to me
Yeah.
is like because her birthday is, and then you froze
Oh no.
completely. So it's just like, oh, i- is this the joke? Is how?
Yeah. I don't want to dox my mom.
Mhm. It's
Um,
okay. I don't think we know what your mom's name is.
you follow the clues, you'll figure it out. Which there were some clues in this episode as to what state Springfield is in. It's one of the 9 states in which George Bush claims residency. And I didn't
Which is
check
a
to see if it's a
reference
thing.
to how Bush claimed residence in many states. In
Yeah.
particular, he was born in Massachusetts, grew up in Connecticut, where his father served in the Senate. He began his business career with a small oil company in Ohio. He made his economic and political fortunes in Texas, from which he served, although his official residence was a Houston hotel. He lived in Virginia while the director of the CIA and
Mm,
maintains a vacation home in Kennebunkport, Maine.
nice. And maintained. He died, right? No, was that right? No.
Old Bush?
Yeah.
I want to
He's
say he's
still alive?
still alive.
Oh, you're right. No, that's George W. Bush. I'm looking at the wrong one.
I tried
Another.
just looking up George Senior and I got George Bluth Senior.
It's the important one. George Herbert Walker Bush died
Oh,
November 30th, 2018, according to Wikipedia.com. .org.
mhm.
Wikipedia.org. Okay. Yeah, so I got to figure out which. So that narrows it down to which it's going to be one of those 9 states that the Simpsons is probably occurring in.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean,
So
it is
now you have
the
to
map.
figure out how many of them have both Springfields and Shelbyvilles.
Oh, yeah. Then I think we might be able to knock it out right there if we figure that out. So yeah, that'll be a special stream we do to announce exactly which state Springfield is in, because people care about that now.
I feel like someone's figured this out already if it was that easy.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's probably not that easy because I've never heard of it being like a huge thing, like when the guy figured out when Ice Cube's good day was.
Well, that was like a real thing, I think, right? Or not a real thing, but like there was like the investigation was very
It was pretty thorough.
engaging. Yeah. Thing I want to look up. Yeah. Because I think this is just there's so many jokes about it. You don't know the fact from the fiction about where Springfield is. That's what keeps it in the mystery.
Hmm.
That's what we'll have to do. That'll be the second round of filtering the information, is to throw out the stuff that is obviously untrue,
Hmm.
and only use the ones that are factual. Because I think when Lisa gives us facts about geography, or geography, we can take Lisa's word for it because she's very smart. But
We
when
could
it's like,
not trust Homer or Bart.
yeah, they might be playing a joke on us or just be too dumb to know what they're talking about. So
Hmm.
yeah, well, we'll get to the bottom of this one day. We got 10 years. We'll do it.
Yep. Uh, Speaking of Homer being dumb and Bart playing jokes, the uh, uh, the big thrust of the episode is Bart becomes Dennis the Menace to George
Yes.
Bush's Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, and that's that is a reference that has not aged well. I think just because I don't, it took me like a few minutes, but like, what's going on here? Oh, that's right. They're doing a play on Dennis the Menace, which is old even then,
Hmm.
1996. Until they did the Dennis the Menace live action reboot movie. What's that? 1993. Oh wow. So I guess it was fresh in everyone's mind. Wow, I didn't know that the movie predated this episode, so they must have gotten their inspiration from watching the Dennis the Menace movie.
It could have been, or it could have been the original '59 TV series, because a lot of early Simpsons stuff
Yes,
is
true.
based on that super old stuff.
Yeah, because it definitely fits in with that. Yeah, but yeah, Natasha Lyonne from Russian Doll and Poker Face, she was in that Dennis the Menace movie, which is for sale on YouTube for $2.89 instead of $2.99. So that's interesting.
Mm,
It's the rental.
nice little discount.
Yeah. So it's you're wasting money by not watching it. Nice. Oh, you ever a Dennis the Menace guy? When you were growing up?
Uh, I mean, I remember reading it, but here's the big question: which Dennis the Menace? Uh,
Oh,
are if you are a Dennis the Menace fan, because there's an English character also named Dennis the Menace.
right.
Uh, that is the star of the English children's comic The Beano.
Beano. Is it in like beans? Like it likes beans? Is it
I
a
have
bean
no
man?
idea what
I
that
don't know.
has to do with anything, but I am familiar with
That's
the
right.
blonde-headed child, not the black-haired one. They both have striped shirts, though.
Yeah, they do. But one's a lot more Bart Simpson-y.
Hmm.
Got to tell you that. Let me pull this up here.
Yeah,
So
the English one looks way more Barty.
yeah, he's more extreme. He's got black hair, but it's like spiky, and is that a rat? Is that a dog? Who knows what that is?
It is a dog named Nasher.
Oh, nice. That's a good skateboarding dog name. Look at his kneecaps. Yeah, he's up to no good. Yes, he looks a lot like a menace. Like American Dennis the Menace just looks like a family circus kid.
Hmm.
Yeah. So this episode, it starts with they're having a rummage sale at the whole street. Here, yeah, I've been living in an apartment so long. I haven't had a actual garage sale in a very long time. Oh, you ever had a garage sale?
Nope.
Yeah.
I've Since we moved out of my grandparents' garage when I was in kindergarten, I have never lived in a house with a garage.
Ah, yeah. The one time we had one, it was I don't think we had a garage, but we had it was when we were living on an army base when I was growing up, and like once a year they had like a okay, everybody on the street or in your neighborhood can do one garage sale, so the people aren't just doing them whenever. We just had one
Hmm.
day a year we could do them. My brothers and like, oh, we should we want to be part of this for some reason, and I had like some basketball cards. I was like, oh, I can sell these for a quarter a piece and then make some money. But then nobody wanted to buy any of them except there was one Dennis Rodman card in there. And some
Hmm.
lady came by and bought that. And I was like, oh man, that's the one card that I liked that I had in it. And then I sold it for a quarter.
Oh
And
man,
it's the only basketball I wanted. And, I sold it because, I don't know, for a quarter. That's the last
why
time I
didn't you
sold
take that
anything.
out before you?
I should have. I don't know. It's the only one I wanted. I was a dumb kid and she took advantage of it. She probably, I think she was a grown woman, or she seemed like a grown woman. She may have been a teenager. I had to have been then 11.
Yeah, someone in their mid late teens can seem like a grown up if you're
Yeah,
11.
that's when I stopped being a Dennis Rodman fan. I thought
Don't
that
have
ever
the
really
card, you can't
was.
be a fan.
Yeah. How else do you prove it?
Hmm. You have to pull out the card.
It's true. Though I have watched more Dennis Rodman movies than I've watched Dennis Rodman basketball games.
I I'm not a basketball fan.
Yeah.
But I feel like I probably fall on the other side of that equation
Hmm. Because he only did like
because
2 movies, I think.
uh, it was it Double Impact?
Yes, I think. John Claude Van Damme did 2 movies with double in the titles. I think that's it. I think that's Double Impact. Yeah. Wait, no, Double Impact was the one where he was the twins. So double shit. Double Team. That's the one where he's with,
Ah,
with
okay,
Dennis Rodman. Yes.
that makes sense.
I guess.
Because double team is that's what you do when someone gets into the paint. You want to double team them.
Oh, yeah. It's a basketball reference. But yeah.
I
Yeah,
suppose it's also
not
a,
hard.
threesome reference.
It's true. Which they don't have a threesome in either of those movies, I think. I think it almost happens with the twins, maybe. Some weird sexual stuff in there. I think there's some mix-ups with whose girlfriend is going to be with who, I think.
I may have also seen more Dennis Rodman wrestling matches than I've seen movies that he's
I
been in.
believe that's true. That shouldn't be hard.
He didn't have a lot,
Oh,
but double team. Simon Says, the comebacks. Rodman
oh,
for better or worse,
is that a
and
stand-up special?
I don't know, but it's oh, it's a 30 for 30. So that doesn't
No.
really count as a
Yeah.
movie.
No. Yeah, it's an episode of a TV series.
Mhm. Also, he had a cameo in the movie Eddie, so I may have
Oh,
actually
okay.
watched more Dennis Rodman movies than I have wrestling matches.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I guess in our books, Dennis Rodman is a movie star, an actor, more than he is anything else.
No, no, I've watched more basketball games for
Oh,
sure.
okay. Fine. I've never watched a whole basketball game. No.
They're kind of difficult to get through because it gets kind of repetitive.
Yeah. I don't think I've watched very many entire sports games of any kind, really. So, yeah.
Football is the one that that I find to be the easiest to watch, but uh, the very reasons why I find it easy to watch, a lot of other people find it difficult to watch. It's
Mm,
because of the start-stop nature of it,
right.
and like, okay, these guys are going to do this, 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 and then switch.
Yeah.
And for some people, they're like, I don't understand why it's happening.
Yeah, but it makes it easier. Yeah. It's easier to keep track of and also to do other stuff while you're watching a football game.
Yeah. Whereas basketball is just it's just 30 continuous minutes of some dudes running back and forth and throwing a ball in the air.
Yeah, and then they score so often, and like if you're not really looking at the score, you don't know
Hmm. And
who's
especially
winning.
like when fast break was like the dominant style of play,
No,
it's just like even more. It's just running back and forth.
it's just tiring to watch. I lose my
Hmm.
breath. What's not
Like
tiring
it's
to watch is this episode. So
Yeah, no, this is good. I was
yeah,
going to start talking about the triangle offense, but I don't actually
ah,
know enough to say anything good about it. So yeah, let's actually talk about The Simpsons.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, so that note about Lisa talking about the 9 states, that's the only note I took for this episode because I was just enjoying watching it.
It's yeah, it's fun. It's a good
Hmm.
episode.
Oh, the yard sale. We started by talking about the yard sale, which I had
Ooh.
completely forgotten was in this episode,
Yeah,
and I was
that's the
just like,
good
"Oh
cold
man,
opens. You forget.
that's I forgot about Disco Stew and Hey Big
Yeah,
Spender."
this is one of those times when I was watching it with my wife, and she, as soon as he pulled out the rhinestone jacket, this is Disco Stew on it. I was like, "Oh, Disco Stew doesn't advertise." She's like, "What?" Okay. And then 2 minutes later, when he says it, she's like, "Oh, this is what happens when I watch TV. When I watch The Simpsons with you." She doesn't. She's not impressed that when I do that. And she always
Hmm.
rolls her eyes.
Part of me wonders whether it's like, do you have to pull that out when you're not watching The Simpsons? Would it be more impressive then?
I I guess so. I don't know. It's because it hits like a pun is the thing
Hmm.
because like you don't see it coming and then it's there and you're like, oh, was that really a joke or was it more of a reference? What's going on? I just feel like you got me. I think is what it is.
Hmm. I think that like I'm trying to figure out how you can leverage the your Simpsons knowledge to impress your wife, and then it's like, wait, she's already your wife.
Yeah, that's what I've had to come to the realization. Like I'm never gonna impress her, but that's all right.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah, you already
impressed her
know whether
enough.
or not you're impressive.
Yeah, impressed her enough already. Can't go any higher than that.
Hmm.
In the poll into the r/Simpsons Discord server right now, so I'm a little straight. Um, where
But
I've
yeah,
been doing the go
the
on.
Hey Big Spender number uh, that lived rent free in my head for many years.
That's definitely I've definitely heard that song more times. The Homer Simpson version more times than the original version from not Cabaret, but the other one. Uh, which one was it from? Sweet Charity.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think that I've ever heard the original.
Yeah, I've it's because the Blank Check podcast they were covering the films of what's his name? The guy he did Cabaret and all that jazz. And one of his first movie was Sweet Charity. So that's the only reason I know that. I watched it last year.
Wait, was the Blank Check podcast originally about the movie Blank Check?
No, it's I think never been about it. They keep teasing that they're going to do it, but
Oh,
they're
okay,
never going to do it. Maybe I don't know, but yeah, that's part of the joke of the movie, the
the
podcast.
podcast.
Yes, the first season of that podcast was the original intent behind that podcast was they were going to do a podcast about the movie Star Wars Episode One: The Phantom Menace, with the bit that they didn't have any knowledge that there was any other Star Wars, just that one movie, and they did that for like 10 episodes, like 3.5 months before they're like, okay, I think we've talked enough about Star Wars Episode One. I just found out there's a Star Wars Episode Two, and they did that for another 10 weeks, and they did that for a while, and eventually they're like, okay, we got to do something else. So now they just do uh directors like do like the whole filmography for individual directors. Yeah.
Their
Funny show.
oeuvre.
Yeah.
I just learned how to pronounce that like a couple of years ago.
I'm always guessing. I base it off of what I've heard other people say. I don't know if that's proper French pronunciation. It sounds right. Nobody speaks French in this episode, but there's a little bit of Russian. So we haven't even gotten to George Bush yet. George Bush was into the neighborhood, to the big empty house across the street from The Simpsons.
Hmm. The vacant, basically a mansion
Yeah,
across the street from where the Simpsons live in Evergreen Terrace, which is apparently not a great neighborhood.
yeah. I should have wrote down all the stuff they said about it. Or when Homer's talking about Evergreen Terrace and how he loves it so much, and Bart goes, "Then why do you litter so much?"
Because
Well,
it's
because it's
easier.
easier. Yeah.
But yeah, so after George Bush moves in, Homer is upset because people act like George Bush is important.
Yeah. They steal his the attention. He was singing the song and yeah, getting rid of he had that Ayatollah Ayatollah t-shirt that was very funny, that it says Ayatollah Asahola, but it's
Hmm.
always folded in just the right way so it can get past the censors. I think it's very funny.
You know what it says, but we can't show you exactly what it
Yeah.
says.
So everything I know about the Ayatollahs, I've learned from this episode of The Simpsons.
All of the different Ayatollah names.
Just that there are different ones. I don't ask me what those names are, but that's the only
How
context
many
I know.
Ayatollahs can you name?
Ayatollah Khomeini. I know that
Okay,
one. I don't
that
know anything about him.
that's the one that Marge mentions, I think.
Yeah,
And then Homer mentions a bunch of other ones, and it's like, what?
yeah.
That which is always one of my favorite gags in The Simpsons when Homer knows about stuff, which
Yeah,
is a rare joke that
yeah.
you get.
And it's good. It's good they don't overdo it. It's just every once in a while they have a. It's very funny when they do it right.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah. So Marge talks about Ayatollah Khomeini, who's died already, and then Homer says, "But it can work on any Ayatollah. Ayatollah Nakbada, Ayatollah Zahedi, and even as we speak, Ayatollah Razmara is something." I don't have the next line, but yeah. So he mentions three other Ayatollahs. I don't know what happened with any of them. Otherwise, this could be one of those Simpsons predicted the future things. But yeah. I don't know. Do you know anything about Ayatollahs? Should we move on?
Nope. The only other Ayatollah that I know of is Chris Jericho, because he is the Ayatollah of Iraq and Rolla.
As you were saying that, I was like, oh, I know that's a phrase. I don't know who it is, but okay, it's Chris Jericho.
He
It's a
may
big
or may
war
not
movie.
have been the first person to say that. I'm pretty sure he was not the
Yeah,
first person, but he's who I associate with that
yeah.
phrase.
Wonder. Was there an Ayatollah wrestler? Because there's the Iron Sheik, right? But he was a sheik, not an Ayatollah. What is an Ayatollah? I think it's a religious leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Ayatollah is an honorific title for high-ranking 12er Shia clergy in Iran and Iraq that came into widespread usage in the 20th century.
Okay. So just because someone's an Ayatollah doesn't even mean they're a bad guy. It's
Hmm.
the reason we think that is because of racism.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I don't want an Ayatollah Assahola shirt unless it's about a very specific Ayatollah.
Oh, apparently Ayatollah of Rock and Roll is from Mad Max 2.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. And I got the Mad Max collection on DVD a while ago. I need to watch them all. Yeah, you can go on Redbubble and get a Ayatollah Assahola shirt if you want to. But yeah, you don't have to.
I will send you over the clip from Mad Max just in case we need something to write out on.
Ooh, good idea. There was Found footage festival clip of the Price Master, but we don't do this today. We'll do this. It's much better. Cool. Okay. Yeah. On the way to the rummage sale, they do pass Apu because they just need to have Apu singing. Was it Dream Police? Or yeah, Dream Police
Yeah.
in his silly Indian accent or impression of an Indian accent, which is unnecessary. But it gets worse in the next episode. So I guess if we had to pick them,
Hmm.
this is the better one. I always like that he has that cool sports car, like a Firebird or whatever. I always thought it was cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, that is and then yeah, George Bush shows up.
Homer's
And,
jealous.
yeah,
Bart tortures him. The final straw in Bart's torture of George Bush, which I don't know. Like they never really established any particular reason why Barbara Bush loves Bart so much.
I think
But
it's just the Dennis the Menace thing. Because I think Mrs. What's the old man's name in Dennis the Menace? I forget.
Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson. Yeah. I think his wife is similarly tolerant of Dennis the Menace. Just thinking, boys will be boys. And then
Hmm.
nothing good happens after someone says that.
But yeah, the final straw of all of the things that Bart does to George Bush is when the outboard motor destroys everything in his garage.
Yeah, or at least his memoirs.
Yeah. Oh, his memoirs is like the last thing that hasn't been
Oh
destroyed.
yeah,
And then when the memoirs get destroyed too, it's like that's it. He
yeah,
uh, he grabs Bart and spanks him
yeah. Two
twice,
times. Yeah,
and Homer gets righteously angry about that.
yeah. Which yeah, that's fair. You can't have a president spank your kids. Although Grandpa Simpson was spanked twice, two non-consecutive occasions by Grover Cleveland. Pretty funny. Well, the other thing that happens is that when Homer's being all jealous of George Bush, he looks him up in the encyclopedia and sees the article about George Bush. And he's like, okay, well, this story checks out. And that was very funny. Yeah, how else would you do research back then before they have Wikipedia? You have to use an actual encyclopedia.
Do they have Homer choke Bart at any point during this episode?
They don't. No.
Because I feel like that would have made the episode a little bit better.
Hmm.
Like, obviously, we know that Homer getting upset at George Bush is kind of hypocritical
Yeah.
because he's done much worse to Bart before. But it's, I feel like it would have been nice to have actually had that happen in the same episode.
Yeah, it would have been funnier to see that. I think. And deal with the fact that I mean Homer does worse to Bart all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of takes away from it a little bit because we're gonna intentionally not show this other child abuse to show to make the impact bigger of the two light pats on the butt.
Hmm.
They decide they're gonna take advantage. They're gonna take revenge on him by shooting bottle rockets at his butt while he's doing toe touches in front of an open window. Which, so, it's funny. It's like a million points if you get one up his butt, and then when it goes to the to cut to inside George Bush's house, it's all lit up with like green explosions and stuff like it's Desert Storm. Which I guess is a fun reference. And then after that, that's when George he makes his anti Bart and Homer um, big old banner. It says "Too bad neighbors" with a picture of the man and the boy. And the boy's name is Bart, and I don't know the name of the man, and nobody understands what's going on with that. Um, I show that. That's so cool. I'm gonna just look real quick. That's a good tattoo idea, right? Definitely a good
Uh,
T-shirt idea.
it is absolutely a great T-shirt idea, and it makes me wonder whether or not anyone's had that idea for a podcast.
Ooh,
Like that would have been a great Simpsons podcast name.
yeah, yeah. We would do when we make the switch to the podcast. This will be the name of it. Yeah. So my search for Two Bad Neighbors tattoo did not bring up anyone with a tattoo of Two Bad Neighbors, but
Too
there is
Bad
a
Neighbors podcast
aha.
does have stuff. It is now a Futurama podcast, apparently.
They must have gone through all of the Simpsons, which they must have been around for a long time. There's at least 508 episodes. They're over close to 800 now. Point
Well,
up
they've had 227 episodes of the show.
Oh, then I guess they haven't. Hmm. I want to solve the mystery of the Two Bad Neighbors podcast without listening to it. I don't know. I'm not listening to 200 and some odd episodes of a podcast. Maybe I should. There's we see the screenshot of the Two Bad Neighbors here on Google image search. And then we also see this tattoo before. It says Mary. And then after, they turn it into a Marge tattoo. That's fun. But not Two Bad Neighbors. That'll be my next tattoo, I guess. If I ever get a tattoo again, that'll be it.
Oh, we'll see whether or not you come up with a better idea between now and when you get that tattoo.
Yeah. But at some point, we have to get a Simpsons tattoo.
Uh, I feel like we definitely have to get one once we finish the first round.
Oh, yeah.
Or do you think that we should wait until we finish the whole series?
Well, we'll have to get the second half when we're done, I guess. But I think, yeah, if we can make it through the first round where we've talked about all 508 episodes, aside from the 4 that got buys, right?
Hmm.
Then I think it's a pretty big milestone. We should do something. I'm down with the tattoo. Yeah, we still got another 4.5 years to figure it out.
Yeah, there's going to be a while.
Yeah, but we'll start making a list of tattoo ideas, and Two Bad Neighbors is on that list.
Even if you don't get it with the word "Too Bad Neighbors," I think just those faces is kind of fun.
I like that. Yeah, because if they were wearing glasses, we could just say that those are two of us, and we just have to figure out which one's which.
Hmm. If we get the if we get it with the words "Too Bad Neighbors," we
Yeah.
should totally make it try and look like us.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yes, this is definitely on the above the maybe pile. Probably not at the
Hmm.
top, even though it's the only thing on the list so far. But it's
I think it's at the bottom
good.
of the yes pile.
Yeah, I think it's a good spot for it.
Like there's definitely room for better, but if we can't find anything else good in the next 500-ish episodes,
Yeah,
we'll just go with that.
yeah, and it's a sacred pact here on a live stream, so we have to stick with it. We put it out to the internet.
Hmm. But I'm sure that we'll figure out something better because if nothing else, there's the fighting hellfish.
Yeah, that's really the one that's the one you want. Especially when by the time we finish, our arm's going to be so wrinkly that it'll be fun. It'll be
Hmm.
just like Grandpa Simpson's is. Being grandparents, the children of George Bush show up at his house. His sons, George Bush Jr. and Jeb Bush, which are names I thought when I first saw this, I was like, oh, I don't need to remember those names. Those are never going to come up again in my life ever again.
Certainly, none of them is going to have an exclamation point after his name.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very funny that Homer makes these two cardboard cutouts of the. They're not twins; they're just brothers, right?
Yeah.
George W. Bush's daughters were twins. That's what it is. I know there's some twins in that family, but they glue a rainbow wig on George Bush's head, and then he just cuts it down to like a haircut size, and goes to a some sort of a talk that he's giving, and then asks for questions, and says, "Yeah, wait to keep in mind that I did already explain about my hair," and then everyone puts their hands down. That's very fun. And so George
It's
Bush
not
gets so,
quite that the meme phrasing. Uh, any question? I feel like there's a lot of questions that have already been answered by X. Do you know
yeah.
which meme phrasing I'm talking about?
Uh, Kinda. It sounds familiar, but I can't give you any help on this one. Can't think of it.
A lot of questions already answered by the shirt.
Oh yes, I have heard that. What is that from?
According to
Hmm.
knowyourmeme.com, it was made popular by comedian Mike Ginn with the format. My shirt has a lot of people asking a lot of questions already answered by my shirt.
Okay.
My not involved in human trafficking T-shirt has a lot of people asking a lot of questions already answered by my shirt.
That's a good joke. That's good.
Mhm. Yeah, I can definitely see how it became a meme format.
Yeah. George Bush, he gets his revenge on the Simpsons by doing donuts on their lawn and getting mud all over the place. I love when Marge is always has that little bit of out of touch mom stuff. She goes, "Oh, well, he must be lost." Okay. Yeah, then Homer and Bart they're gonna go through the sewer to release locusts into George Bush's house. You ever been in a sewer? I think I've been in some drain pipes, but never an actual sewer,
I
like
don't
under
even
a
think I've been
manhole.
in drain pipes. I've been in drainage ditches.
Ah, yeah, stinky. Yeah, that's things you do when you're a kid.
Hmm.
So I feel like I heard somewhere once that locusts and grasshoppers are the same thing. It's just that something happens to grasshoppers and they freak out and become locusts, basically. Which I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel like I saw some video about that or something once.
That sounds very familiar, and they do look basically the same.
Yeah.
Like not exactly the same, but basically.
Just yeah, when I go to Google, what's the difference? So first thing I get is what's the difference between affect and effect? Huh? Verb and one's a noun, but which one's which? You know? Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Effect, I think, is the verb, and effect is the noun.
Yeah. Okay, so technically a locust is a type of grasshopper. Just however, not all grasshoppers are locusts. Okay. Interesting.
So it's not just a grasshopper triggered by God's rage.
Right. I don't know why. Why did I learn that? I don't know. I don't know. But I've never seen the locust in real life. Yes, where Homer and George Bush they get into a fight in the sewers, and George Bush pulls out his garrote and his watch that he got from the CIA to choke out Homer. And then Barry gets him with the locust in the face. And they get up on the street and they're fighting, and Gorbachev shows up with as a housewarming gift and says, I find you grappling with a local oaf. Very funny. Yeah, and then they leave. He says something in Russian to his driver, but I don't know what it is.
I don't recall what it was either.
There's no subtitles for that. Also, I've been watching with Italian subtitles, so my wife can learn Italian. So I don't even know if it did in the English version. I don't know. What does Borba Kev say in The Simpsons? Hey, that's a good autocomplete. Thanks, Google. Starting to figure out what I want to know. Oh, he says, no, nya, znyet moj nachalnik this, which is half Russian for, oh, wait till my boss hears about this.
I've I just made a wonderful discovery.
Yeah.
If someone is not good at Russian
Mhm.
pronunciation, it just sounds like people speaking backwards.
That's fair. A lot of the words look like they would be backwards in English. There's like
Because
English words backwards.
listening to Russian spoken by a native speaker,
Hmm.
like it definitely sounds like a real language.
Yeah.
But when it's like you're just sounding the words out,
Right.
it totally sounds like
It's kind of like that sounds like Chloe Talbot speaking Chinese. We'll get to that in a
Mhm.
minute.
Moth would
Moth.
be another great tattoo. From the first episode, I think, of The
Oh,
Simpsons.
right. Yeah. The heart that's supposed to say mother, but then just get halfway through before your mom drags you away.
Hmm. Like that's definitely a better choice than Die Bart Die.
D, Bart D. It's German. Yeah. So George Bush, he moves out, and then they get a new neighbor, and it's Gerald Ford. Invites Homer over for football and nachos, and then they're gonna have some beer. And then they trip and fall together and say "dough" at the same time,
Hmm.
which is a reference I only know because of people talking about Chevy Chase doing that on Saturday Night Live, because it's a thing that Gerald Ford did. But these are all things that I've heard about and never seen. And the original thing or the joke on it, or really all I know about is really just The Simpsons.
I, I first knew about that from The Simpsons when someone explained that Homer and Ford falling down was a reference to Chevy Chase.
Ah,
And then I went back and watched not old episodes of Saturday Night
right,
Live, but clips of Chevy Chase's Gerald Ford.
right.
And yeah, he made fun of him for falling down a lot.
And it burned itself into the brains of the Simpsons writers, and they did it 20 years later
Mhm.
in their Dennis the Menace parody.
Yeah, it does not surprise me that the Chevy Chase years of SNL burned themselves into the memory of the Simpsons writers' room in the
Yeah,
90s.
it's the way that the Simpsons have burned themselves into the brains of SNL writers today, I'm sure, or maybe
Hmm.
10 years ago. But yeah,
Now it's probably Family Guy.
yeah. So one piece of trivia about this episode was that in September of 1990, Barbara Bush mentioned in an interview for People magazine that The Simpsons was the dumbest thing that she had ever seen. So that's part of why 5 years later they did a episode about The Simpsons or about the Bushes.
That's a very, very reasonable response for a
Yeah,
creative to have.
it's true. Could have been a lot worse. I feel like most other cartoons, especially nowadays, have gone a lot harder on them.
Hmm.
Especially Barbara Bush. She's pretty nice and reasonable in this episode. The only other thing I have to talk about on this one is the couch gag. If I had to mention that, that's was a hunter sitting down at the couch with all the Simpsons heads mounted on the wall, and the bearskin rug is a Homer skin rug. It's pretty funny. But I think I like the next one better. Anything else to say about Two Bad Neighbors?
I don't.
Cool. It's Move on to She Used to Be My Girl, season 16 in 2004. December 5th, 2004. Just a couple of days before Pearl Harbor Day. With,
2004. So we're both out of school and adults by
yeah,
then.
grown adults. Yeah, by then I would have been, I was probably working at McDonald's that day. As a 19-year-old. Yeah. I know. Yeah.
December of '04. I think that was when I was working at Last Sanctuary. It
Mhm.
was where Target is at Al Moana now?
Yes.
There used to be like a little strip mall area over there,
Hmm.
and I was working at a comic book shop over there.
Oh, cool. I knew you worked at a comic book shop. Makes total sense.
Yeah, it explains why I do such a good comic book guy accent.
You were a comic book guy for a while.
Like, if not for several other jobs that I wish that I could say that that was the worst job ever, but I enjoyed it a lot. There were things that I didn't uh, super like about the job, but it wasn't bad. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, I worked at the Barnes and Noble cafe at one point, and a car drove into the front of the Barnes and Noble, and I said that this is the greatest day
Oh,
of work ever.
yeah.
So uh, it's hard for me to complain about any other job.
Right. That's a very exciting day.
It was unbelievably exciting.
Yeah.
Also, I I it was the only day of work I ever had where I ended up with glass in my knuckles
Eesh.
from trying to pick up a box of magazines that got shredded by the car driving through the magazine racks.
Oh, it went really deep into the, yeah. It didn't
Not
stop after it went to the window. It kept going.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, it went straight through the front window and through two racks of magazines, but it stopped
Wow.
before it hit any books, I believe.
Well, thank God. 'Cause I think they've done Mythbusters. How many books can a bullet go through? I
Hmm.
don't know that, but we know how many magazine racks a car can go through. I guess that's good knowledge to have.
Yeah. And how many books a bullet can go through is very much dependent on the caliber of the bullet, I believe.
Oh yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah. Like, I would not be surprised if like a 22 can get stopped by a hotel room Bible.
Yeah, especially a hardcover.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But like a 50 cal, that is probably going to blow through at least a couple of volumes of the encyclopedia.
Yeah, I bet I could go through the whole Encyclopedia Britannica. Maybe I don't know how big that is. 'Cause I figure I can go through like like a foot of concrete, right? So I don't know.
I'm just going to Google that and see what it says. How many
Okay,
books does it take to stop a 50 caliber bullet?
nice. Yeah. So this episode, we meet Chloe Talbot. She's a reporter, a big time national TV reporter, and she used to be friends with Marge in high school.
Hmm. Yeah, from the name of the episode used to be My Girl, I totally expected it to be X of Homer's.
Yeah, you'd think 'cause this isn't really. It's not a good name for the episode. Uh, yeah, because it's Marge is jealous of her. She has her big life. She goes and travels around. She's constantly name dropping people.
Hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, they were high school friends, and they busted Mo for spitting in the food as his first job out of prison.
Hmm.
Young Mo. We don't see a lot of young Mo like that. 'Cause we see young Mo as one of the little rascals, but
Hmm.
not teenager Mo like that. That'll be I want to see the timeline of Mo's throughout history.
Huh. The 50 caliber went through one box of Xerox paper, and then it
Hmm.
changed angles going through the second box, and it exited through the side.
Oh,
So
yikes!
I guess they don't have an exact count.
That's scary though.
It was also like super, super close.
Yeah,
Not that
that's
air does a whole lot to decelerate 50 caliber.
right. Yeah, I think they probably weren't. When they do those kind of experiments, you don't see a lot of protection on the sides.
Hmm.
So yeah,
It's
scary.
a good thing no one got hurt.
Yeah.
The same channel, Demolition Ranch, also has a video of how many screen protectors does it take to stop a bullet.
Like, are they OtterBox brand? Because that makes the difference. I think.
I have no idea.
Hmm.
It looks like it's only a handgun bullet though, so
Oh, okay.
it's not going to be like a 50 caliber kind of thing.
Still the craziest thing I think about with Johnny Knoxville and how he got uh, famous enough to do Jackass was that he did that bit that they do in Jackass, but for a magazine, for a skateboarding magazine, Big Brother,
Hmm.
where they tested all the different the like self defense devices on him, like he got maced and tasered and stuff. And then I was like, okay, and then for my final trick, I will shoot myself in the chest while wearing a bulletproof vest. And since I'm a poor skateboarding guy, I'm just gonna buy the cheapest bulletproof vest I can buy, and we'll just go out in a field and I'll just shoot myself while the people take pictures. It's crazy. It's a crazy
Wow,
man.
I did not know about that origin.
Yeah, and he did that, and people were like, "Wow, that's so nuts! We got to make a TV show out of this."
Speaking of a TV show that is absolutely just one thing happening over and over and over again, uh, this episode, god damn,
Yeah,
they took the one joke of Chloe name dropping and they made that her character.
yeah. Because I
I
was
don't
thinking about
I
so
don't even remember Homer and Bart doing anything in this episode.
Homer's choking Bart at one point. I think it's about it. I think that's all they do. This is definitely a Lisa and Marge episode, whereas the last one was a Homer and Bart.
Hmm. Yeah, but Homer and Bart are like barely even characters in this episode.
Yeah.
Homer more so than Bart. Because Homer at least, in addition to choking Bart, he
Hmm.
also chokes on the same chicken bone twice.
Yeah. While saying weirdly racist things.
Hmm.
But it was funny when Marge and Chloe Marge finally just attacks her and they start fighting, rolling around in the grass. Homer sticks his head out of the window and is like, ladies, you don't have to fight over me." She's like, "Well, no one's fighting over you." Okay, I'll go back inside.
Which is a very good response.
Yeah, what is he supposed to do? But yeah, because I liked this episode that it was about something as far as being like Marge. She sees a friend of hers where they started off in the same place, and then she goes off and does this big world traveling lifestyle thing that she would have wanted, and so it has that sort of emotional arc to it. But then yeah, Chloe herself not great as a character. Then all this weird racial stuff, and then yeah, it's not as good or as memorable as of an episode. But I like the
It's a
what they're
solid
doing with the
premise.
character. Yeah.
I'm wondering how many times we're going to be saying that about uh, things that are from seasons after 12.
Yeah. Because I think that's definitely a pattern we'll see. Like, oh, there was a good thing in here that we liked seeing, but then they kind of overdo it with the other stuff. That makes it
Hmm.
not as fun.
But yeah, the fact that it was just that same joke over and over, and there was no B plot, uh, that
Yeah.
just I couldn't deal with it Because at least like with some of the other episodes that we didn't like, there was a B plot, and in some
Yeah.
cases the B plot was literally a plot about bees.
And it was a good one. I liked it.
Mm.
Uh, oh, I forgot my Frankie act from the last episode, which is now it's part of I've got it on the stream. I'm going to use every once in a while. It's when Homer was he was laying on his hammock, right, and George Bush was jogging past with all of Homer's friends jogging behind him, and then Santa's little helper keeps looking over and he runs off to go with them. And Bart says, Homer says, "Oh, looks like he's barking up the wrong bush," or something along those lines. And then he thinks to himself while he's there in his hammock, the cleverest thing you'll ever say, and nobody heard it. So it's something we need to hold on to.
Yeah, that that is absolutely the kind of thoughts that I have to myself.
Yeah. And I try to recreate it later by telling a boring story about it. It never works.
You know what you have to do?
Hmm.
The best way that I've found in my life is lie.
Yeah.
You retell the story about the thing that happened, as and you're telling it to other people, but
Right.
instead of it ending the way it really happened, it ended with you saying the thing that you thought of, that
Right.
you wish that you had said.
Yeah. I mean that's what stand up comedy is, right?
Yeah, it's lying. It's lying to the audience.
This thing happened the other day, and then I had this great response to this thing that happened.
Mhm.
And aren't I funny?
Yeah, and this thing totally did not happen 8 years ago, and I'm not still telling that exact same story.
Right. I don't want to break that the illusion.
The girlfriend that I'm going to tell you totally did not dump me 7 years ago.
Yeah. I'm not totally married to somebody else right now.
Hmm.
But my freaky act for this episode was Bart saying thinking is for losers because Lisa was sneaking out for the first time and she's thinking about whether or not she really wants to do it. But Bart's already out there and floating in midair. Those are
That
thinking is for losers.
that is a great frame capture.
Like I didn't even
Uh,
notice.
I the There's actually more to that gag
Mm,
that I really
yeah.
enjoyed because when she says, "Oh, thank you for helping me, Bart," Bart says, "You're welcome, and thanks for breaking my fall." And she's like, "What do you mean breaking your?" And then he jumps on her.
That's always a good bit. That's always good comedic timing when someone they're asking the question and they come to the realization right as it's happening and don't even get to finish it because we know what they're gonna say and we're seeing it happen. It's fine.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But
we'll
yeah,
talk.
that's the only thing I remember Bart doing in this episode.
Yeah, I forgot about it until I pulled up the Frankie act. So yeah, he gets choked, and Homer doesn't even know why he's choking him, and I think that's really all the only other thing we see him do. Oh, and he pretends he's gonna be one of Mayor Quimby's illegitimate children, and he does a little
Oh yeah, that's
um,
right.
accent. It's fun, but yeah, unnecessary. 'Cause they don't even do anything with it. They don't even try.
I
It was
wish that they actually had tried to do that and had that been the B
yeah,
plot.
because we that's the last we hear of the whole mayor thing. Right after that, but it was funny. They had the Chloe had the night vision tape of the mayor with the one of the women that he impregnated. And he's like, "Read my sash." She goes, "You're the major?" He goes, "No, that's mayor, you fertile moron." So, presumably, then impregnates her.
Or already did.
Yeah, he already did.
I I also did enjoy the gag of the fact that the baby cries like Mayor Quimby.
Yes, but do not like the gag of Cookie Kwan having that crazy accent. Uh, but it was funny to have the baby. Yeah, this episode's a kind of a roller coaster of going, ugh, or oh, that's funny.
Uh, Jesus, Buddha, and SpongeBob also fairly funny joke.
Yeah.
Oh, if I had done the Frinkiac,
Hmm.
I know exactly what I would have done.
Oh yeah,
Actually, lava underground is called magma. You're so smart.
drops into the name. I forget what it was.
That like I don't think I saw this episode before, but my brain
Hmm.
filled it in as it was happening, like on the TV when Lisa's like, "Oh, there's lava under the ground."
Yeah.
It closes. Actually, when it's underground, lava is called
Mm.
magma. That's
Pretty
something
good.
I think everyone around our age knows just because of Austin Powers.
Yeah, it's still a good bit. Yeah, I think that overall a lot of the jokes work in the episode, but the episode overall doesn't make much of an impression.
I also feel like there was no real resolution
Yeah,
for Marge.
that's true. Like she saves Lisa from the lava, but that's she doesn't even use like her mom skills. I was really expecting her to like do something, with like a vacuum cleaner or something, 'Cause she
Hmm.
does that in other episodes when she uses those things, all of the tools of the life that she has lived, not being an international reporter, just
Hmm.
being a mom. She could have used any of those things, but she doesn't do any of that. She just hops across some rocks. Oh, and when she gets a black eye after the fight, she does find a can of Shiner Be Gone in the medicine cabinet. It's kind of funny because it's got a little Irish leprechaun on it, but then it just takes too long to do. I'm like,
Yeah,
funny
that
idea.
one was really a Family Guy joke.
Yeah, seeing a lot of that. Ba, 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 ba. It was also funny when they go to the women's conference thing and they see that she's on the volcano with Lisa, and Homer's like, "Okay, well, Marge, you stay here with the women. I'll go save Lisa." And then he gets booed. And he goes, "Okay, fine. You go save Lisa, and I'll stay here with the women." And he gets booed again. That's funny. Then he has a extra tag on that of what do women want? It's like, okay, that we got that. We kind of got that.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's about when Chloe, she was in high school. She dated Barney, and so he saves her in his helicopter, and they have pity sex, and the helicopter bounces up and down like they're having
Hmm.
sex in it. That's so good.
That was an ending that I was not expecting.
Yeah,
Like I was like, oh, I forgot that things get sanitized. I think by your brain, like unless it's very explicit or the explicitness is the thing you remember.
yeah.
Like for the like 3 months, I think that me and Nick Murray had
Mm.
our Golden Girls
Yeah,
podcast.
the Golden Boys.
Yeah, uh, like there was that episode where they had Rose afraid to have sex with her new boyfriend
Mm.
because she killed her previous husband by having sex with him.
Right.
And like I was watching that and I was just like, I feel like I'm sure that I've seen this before,
Mm.
but like my brain is just like, wow, that this is very risque for the time period. I feel
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and like this, like having the sex joke. I think like the time period makes sense.
Right.
Having the helicopter actually bouncing up and down is like, oh
Yeah, I didn't think they would be able
wow,
to do that.
on a Sunday night in prime time.
Yeah. Yeah, this is 2004. This is, it's a post South Park world. Like we got to do more and get away with
Post
more now.
South Park, pre Janet Jackson's nipple.
Yeah. When was that? 2005? This
Yeah,
is just a few
I
months
want to say that
before.
was like, was it
Probably.
2005? I thought it
I
was
don't know.
2007.
Maybe. No idea. Yeah, I mean, just the stuff with Barney being sober, you kind of forget. Oh yeah, that happens at some point. He gets sobers up. He stops drinking.
No, I was wrong.
Oh.
This is post Nipplegate.
Oh.
Nipplegate was February 1st, 2004.
Ah. The day before Groundhog's Day. Ah, yes. This is fresh after that. So, yeah.
I'm surprised that they were that daring.
Yeah. I guess it's because you're just seeing a helicopter move up and down. There's no sounds
Hmm.
involved. You don't really see anything. You just see the helicopter. That's probably all they can get away with.
Yeah, there's just a lot of plausible deniability there.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's it for this episode. One other thing that was kind of funny was when Marge she imagines what life would have been like if she became a reporter, and she goes and reports on the Lake Placid where the Miracle on Ice never happened. I guess that's how the alternate universe would have went. It's okay.
Like
I don't
that
know
that
enough about it. I don't care about hockey enough.
that feels like a real weird monkey's paw kind of joke.
Yeah,
Like, oh, one you can have one thing happen, but something else that you like is not going to
right.
happen because of that. And it's like it's a extremely non sequitur kind of thing.
Yeah, because I think it's funny to have that fantasy of like, oh, what would life be like if I did do, if I was in this different thing, and then that also carries along with it the butterfly effect of like, oh no, this thing that I wanted to happen wouldn't have happened. Like that
Mhm.
extra step is funny, but then the choice for it to be the miracle on ice, like we said, takes it too far away from what the funny part.
Yeah, like they need to actually spell out how that second thing happened. Like, what about Marge becoming a reporter made it so that the miracle on ice never happened?
Right. Or if Marge was a person who really cared about hockey or something,
Hmm.
make it more meaningful. I want to watch the movie Lake Placid, which has nothing to do with hockey. I really want to watch. I
Now,
want to watch
if you
it.
want to watch a movie about the miracle on ice, what is Miracle available on Disney Plus? Let's check
Yeah.
because I'm pretty sure that it was a Disney movie.
Mm. You're right. It is. Signed Kurt Russell. 2004. Oh wow. This was shadow advertisement for the movie. When did it come out? 2004. When? February 6th, 2004. Okay. Right before the Super Bowl. Right
Right
after.
after the
Right
Super
after.
Bowl.
The same
Yeah.
week. That weekend and right after.
Hmm.
So everyone was still freshly had uh, Janet Jackson's nipples in their mind and needed to clean it out. So they went and saw a wholesome Disney hockey movie. And this is all feeding into The Simpsons.
Do you have like those like real world events that are connected to like specific movies in your brain?
I'm sure I do. I can't think of one.
Like for me, the two that are very connected to me
Hmm.
is 9/11 and Hardball, starring Keanu Reeves. Like, I'm not saying that Keanu Reeves in Hardball caused 9/11. It
Right.
was just the first
Yeah.
movie that I watched after 9/11.
Oh, I remember POD. The band POD had an album drop that day because I had gotten a sticker for free. It said POD 9/11 2001, like new album, whatever it's called. And I had that on my put that sticker on my notebook at school with a note right under it saying, "No, I don't like POD." Um, so I thought that was funny. How do I have that here? Oh, this. And this is the what's it called? A Venn diagram for these two episodes. So far, what I've got, what they have in common: name dropping, fighting, and then stinky gases in the sewer, and then also Lisa brings up whatever the gases are coming out of that volcano.
Hmm.
I forgot. If you have anything else to add before we give it out to the world.
Love and Theft by Bob Dylan, Satellite by POD, Silver Side Up by Nickelback, God Hates Us All by Slayer, uh, This Is It or Is This It by The Strokes, and The Blueprint by Jay-Z all released on 9/11.
Wow. And yeah, I don't think any of those were very good. But I think that might
The
just be
Blueprint was.
okay. And I don't think I've ever seen that. 2001 wasn't a good time for music aside from I think hip hop was really happening coming into its stride right around then, but I think a lot of the was popular on the rock side, not
Hmm.
things we want to listen to anymore. Okay, cool. So yeah, so that's the diagram there.
All right, so we did the Venn diagram, we did the Frankie X. Now it's time to put them on the master list.
Well,
Because I think that we're easily saying Two Bad Neighbors is better, right?
yeah, I think overall it is. It's tied right now on the r/Simpsons Discord,
Oh
and
wow.
only with each only has one vote because I
Oh, okay.
forgot that with the time difference now because we don't do daylight savings time. I posted the thing at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I think no midnight at
East Coast.
midnight on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So I need to start doing them earlier. At least 2 people voted. But anyways, yeah, Two Bad Neighbors. It's moving on to face off against the Black Widower. Ooh, it's going to be quite the matchup in 250 weeks from now.
Hmm.
And yes. Next week is Homer the Smithers and Sleeping with the Enemy. Talk about that in a minute. Okay, let me pull up the master list. Google Sheets.
All right, so it's for sure higher than Africa.
Yeah, but not much higher. Yeah, we didn't even talk about the when it's the idea is funny that she knows the dance that the Chinese government makes dissidents do before they're executed. That's a funny idea.
Hmm.
She doesn't need to be singing gibberish Chinese while she's doing it.
I would say Under the Burns and the Beast.
Yeah, because my brother the carjacker, is so forgettable. Similarly, yeah, Clay. The more every time I look at the burns and the beats, I go, I think I liked it, but no, I just like the B part.
Yeah.
But yeah, at
It's
least
up
it
to
has
you if you
that.
want to throw it below My Mother the Carjacker.
Yeah, I think I'll put it above because at least it's got. I like I said, I like the idea behind the Marge's journey in this episode, even if it doesn't have much of a conclusion or isn't really explored that much. What is this movie? It's called She Used to Be My Girl, season 16, right?
Uh,
Yeah, season 16 episode.
yes.
Two Bad Neighbors is pretty good, but not great. Yeah, it's not really what it's about. Is Bart being Dennis the Menace, right?
Hmm.
Because really, you're kind of on George Bush's side when it comes to like this kid's being a real pain in the ass. So I don't want to. Where'd this go?
I think above Simpsons Bible stories.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely below Stark Raving Dad. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Actually, no, below Wizard of Evergreen Terrace also for sure.
definitely. Yeah,
I don't know where you want to put it in between those other three.
yeah. Let's see, Hungry Homer. Hmm. Oops. I think between Hungry Homer and Bart Star isn't a bad place.
Okay.
It's not really a top 10 episode, but I mean, right now it is. But mostly just because I love the George Bush stuff, even though story wise not amazing.
Also for the cold open.
Oh yeah, that's very good. Wars. Season 6, 5, 7. And 7.
7.
Ah.
Did you hit the number lock button?
I think he just froze for a second. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. But it is right above the 7 there on the thing. Okay, yeah, so there we go. Two Bad Neighbors in the top 10 so far. Sorry, number 1, Lisa the Vegetarian. Birth and Murder release of the Greek top 3. We will find out next week. Home of the Smithers versus Sleeping with the Enemy. Both people taking playing different roles in their lives than they used to, because this is where Homer becomes Smithers for Mr. Burns, and Nelson, he moves in with the Simpsons for some reason.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, cool. We should have Garrett Holes from the Mr. Burns play at Koa Theater joining us next Monday.
Sweet.
Yep.
Hey, out of curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
when are we watching Homer Palooza?
Great question. Where is? I think I closed it. Let's find the old bracket here.
Sorry, I was just noticing that is also a season 7 episode, so I'm curious.
Yeah. Dashboard. This guy up here. Think that worked? Did that work? No. Go. Yeah. We've also got going on the March Madness happening right now. We're in the 9th matchup. If you do brackets on bracketfights.com, let me close this. They do a weird thing where they'll split the brackets in half, right? You get your left side and your right side stuff. It'll do all of the matches on the left side first before you do the ones on the right side. It's weird. So
yeah,
do
that's
the whole
a little awkward.
left side. Yeah. The whole left side. So, you and I both had Anime Marge from the Death Note parody, not going past the first round, but she won by a landslide over whichever Marge it was for that. Church Marge, because I was asking people on the internet what they like better, an anime lady or something else, and of course, that was the only real kind of upset from that so far.
Oh, that makes sense though. It's the internet.
Yeah. What were we expecting? What was I expecting? But tonight it's Witch Marge versus Prom Queen Marge. But,
I think that I think that the main reason why Anime March didn't go far for you and me is it feels like neither of us went with super untraditional marches.
It's true. We didn't let them go very far in the thing. But Homer Palooza is going to be week 226. Right now it's week 11, so that's 215 weeks from now.
Okay, so it's like about 4 years.
Yeah. Particularly that should be Thursday, April 22nd, 2027. But whatever that week is, whatever that Monday is. So yeah, April of 2027.
A little over 4 years then.
Yeah. 4 years and a month. Cool. That's if we don't miss any weeks, which we probably will. But yeah. But versus Eeny Teeny Miny Maya Mo, which I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
I don't think so.
It's where a Mo goes on a date.
Probably ranked very, very low.
Yeah, it's got to be, right? Although I don't know.
Because that's Homer the one Palooza is really fun.
Yeah, very like Homer Palooza, right? Me and that other dude. 242 versus 271. I guess I liked it more than that other guy did. But Eeny Teeny Maya Mo, that's where Mo's is like he falls in love with a woman he's dating who is a little person.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. We'll get to that in 4 years.
Homer Palooza wins on, if nothing else, the Billy Corgan Smashing Pumpkins. Homer Simpson smiling politely.
It's good. Is that a tattoo? No, it's probably not a tattoo. Definitely a t-shirt, right?
There's probably a bunch of things from Homer Palooza that could be tattoos.
Yeah. I mean, definitely the him getting whacked in the stomach with the cannonball, which is just a parody of that CD cover. That's got to be a t-shirt.
Yeah.
It has to exist.
I am sure that that's a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Uh, ooh, uh, hold on. What was the Simpsons episode where Homer's fighting the hobos?
The hobos. Oh, right. Because I think Grandpa Simpson's involved with that one, right?
The
Was it?
boxing one.
Yeah.
Homer, they fall.
Hmm.
That one, I think there's an X-ray of Homer's brain.
Right.
That sounds like it would be a good tattoo, also.
Oh yeah. That one or the one where he's got the crayon up his nose. The
Oh yeah, the crayon one. That might be better, actually.
yeah. Oh yeah, we got a lot of good t-shirt ideas. We need to open a Etsy shop or something. No, Teespring? One of those. Anyways. Yeah, so that's next week. Homer Smithers was sleeping with the enemy. Tonight we're gonna write out in this video, which has a copy a disclaimer, right? This is fair use by the people that made it. I don't know if it's fair use for us who's just watching it. But yeah. Anything else you want to say to the internet before we say goodnight?
Um, trans rights.
Yeah, trans rights or human rights. So
Mhm.
just support that. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye. Is this
The Lord Humongous, the warrior of the wasteland, the Ayatollah of rock and roller!